Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at Ghosted. In advance, I'll say, for some reason, I don't know, I'm such an amateur with the camera work, but usually I record my videos at night. It's currently daytime, so there's a little bit of sunlight sort of glaring off of my posters in the background. I wish I could find a way to fix it, but I've blocked off the light as well as I can. Anyways, let's talk about Ghosted, the latest sort of action rom-com that just dropped on Apple TV+. This film is directed by Dexter Fletcher, who I only really know from directing Rocketman, which I thought was a pretty decent biopic. I wasn't exactly excited for this movie, but I like Ana de Armas and I like Chris Evans, and despite the apprehensions I may have, I never want to go into a film wanting to hate it or expecting to hate it. I always want to give something a fair chance. So in this film, Chris Evans plays Cole. He's a farmer. He's kind of a great big dork because I guess that's the type of characters this actor is being typecast as ever since his Captain America days. I don't know why a lot of movies seem to like him as this type of character, because I particularly don't. I don't know, I found that characterization to be kind of annoying. We'll talk more on that later. Ana de Armas is also in the movie as Sadie. She's this woman that he sort of meets and connects with. They begin dating, and then one day she ghosts him, completely cuts off contact with him, and he really thinks this is the one, so he winds up tracking her down in London, and what do you know, she turns out to be a CIA spy. The best way that I can describe this movie is think of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but if only Angelina Jolie was a spy, and Brad Pitt was just this dorky hunk who is useless in just about every situation. Kind of takes the fun out of this premise, if you ask me. Adrian Brody is also in the film as Levesque. He's sort of this really generic, sort of cartoonish baddie, but he probably gives the best performance out of all the actors in this film. I've really come to appreciate him. I wasn't a huge fan of him back in his Predators days, but now I really see him as an underrated actor. He's really got the nice voice to play a character like this, so even though the character itself doesn't stand out, I think he does a solid job. But man, this movie is just so dull and uninteresting and uncaptivating. The first 20 minutes are generic romance, rom-com type stuff. The two of them meet, they hit it up, they go on dates, and it's just really cheesy, annoying dialogue. From there, it turns into a generic spy film. Of course, the characters are after this device that contains this biochemical weapon. What exactly is this biochemical weapon, and why is it such a threat? We don't really know. It's never really explained, as per usual in this genre. There is a decent amount of action in this flick, but I found the action to be pretty generic, pretty uninteresting. No really unique camera work here. You can tell that they put money into this, but it doesn't really make for the most captivating story. But what's perhaps most shocking about Ghosted is the complete lack of chemistry between Chris Evans and Ana de Armas. These are two actors that I really like in other projects, and I don't know if they just didn't really care about this or if they just genuinely aren't great together. I'm not going to say they were horrible. I mean, they were easily one of the better parts of the film, because without them, you just have a really shitty script and mediocre direction. At least it has some A-list star power, but I just didn't find the relationship to be that engaging or even believable. As far as some positives, besides the actors sort of trying, I guess, and some of the action being watchable, I don't know, Chris Evans' parents were kind of funny, I guess. I don't know, man. A lot of the humor in this movie missed for me. It's just a ton of Chris Evans stumbling around and generally just being useless in these combat situations when he eventually stumbles upon Ana de Armas' mission. The two of them argue back and forth. It's the kind of relationship where they know deep down that they want to be with each other, but they want to be as combative as possible and sort of hide their emotions. It gets really old fast, especially when they repeat the same jokes over and over and over again. There are a bunch of random cameos in here that I won't spoil just in case you don't want to know, but I don't know, it just kind of made me wish I was watching another movie that may contain Chris Evans and some certain other actors, but it wasn't that funny to me, especially considering these cameos were used to generate these really repetitive jokes. I mean, they literally, all these actors say the same thing as the last one. It's like a conveyor belt of recycled shit, and it just becomes bludgeoning to your capacity to sit there and mindlessly enjoy an action film. I guess you could say this is sort of like a nothing film, and what I mean by that is that you can sit there and turn your brain off and watch it, and yeah, there's some car crashes and some people jumping out of planes and trying to stop an entire country from being decimated by this biological weapon. But at the end of the day, you're not going to remember it. There's nothing memorable about it. You never really feel any emotion of any kind. I guess this film is just sort of proof that dumping money and star power into something doesn't make it good. It has to be well shot. It has to have some interesting ideas and maybe a sharp script. This just has none of that. Again, I think it's tolerable. The first 20 minutes were awful. I was really just totally checked out. And then it sort of got into the spy stuff, and I'm like, okay, it's watchable. There's a lot of, bullets flying and just mindless action, but nothing to really cry home about. It's inoffensive enough, but a complete waste of time, if you ask me. So I'm going to give this movie a 2 out of 5. I don't recommend seeing this at all unless you just really love these actors and you really love cheesy rom-coms. I don't even think it'll satisfy you if you go in with those expectations. But as always, that's just my take on the film. As usual, I want to hear from you guys down in the comments. What's your favorite sort of action rom-com? One that's hopefully a lot better than this. I'm also going to be seeing Guy Ritchie's The Covenant later today, so a review for that should be coming up soon. As always, hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.